Number 5 is alive.
So, 80s fans, you think you've seen it all. Okay, Muammar Gaddafi, get a load of this. It's I Love the 80s 3D, and this is 1986.
Snuggle me!
The flicks.
You couldn't find big time if you had a road map.
The fashions. The trends. The TV. The tunes.
We don't have to take our clothes off.
Coming at you in brain-bending 3D. A totally gnarly year that gave us these burning questions. Who's got the nads to try a triple Lindy?
In real life, if anyone were to attempt the triple Lindy, they would be instantly killed.
Not Rodney. There's a reason his last name is Dangerfield.
Why are these toys so pissed off?
You want me to throw one?
Yeah.
I'm a madball!
I say flip it!
And how much tail can one game show host get?
Chuck Warner was the coolest white boy in history.
Really? Is that right?
The answers to those questions, plus pool hustling for dummies.
It's just the way that you use it.
And old people and murder, perfect together.
Looks like you were right, Miss Fletcher.
Because you still love the 80s. Because you're still wondering if it's live or Memorex. Admit it. This is 1986 in 3D. Coming straight into your rumpus room.
Excuse me, has anyone seen Thornton Melon?
That's what I call marine biology.
Back to School with Rodney Dangerfield, only one of the classics of American cinema.
When did you dream about going to college?
When I used to fall asleep in high school.
I'll tell you, it's rough, huh? Huh, it's rough. We're going back to school, huh? Wasn't that the whole movie?
Hey, folks, it's on me. Shakespeare for everyone, okay? You too, honey. Ooh, I'd like to tame your shrew.
His son wants to drop out of school, and Rodney says to him, you can't drop out of school. I'll go back with you.
You're tall and fat.
Yeah, well, you're short and ugly. Give me the pen back, will you?
So he moves into the dorm next to his kid, and he takes 4 dorm rooms, and he knocks out the walls, and he turns it into one giant party pad.
Well, what's your favorite subject?
Poetry.
Really? Well, maybe you can help me straighten out my Longfellow.
In Back to School, to indicate that the party they throw is really awesome, they have Oingo Boingo playing. Come on.
Oh, I love 3 girls at once. My Paul and Steve got each other to talk to.
I mean, it was hysterical. He did one book report where he got the author to write the book, report on his book report.
Hi, I'm Kurt Vonnegut. I'm looking for Thornton Melon.
He has Kurt Vonnegut write his paper on Kurt Vonnegut, and he gets a B on it.
And another thing, Vonnegut, I'm going to stop payment on a check. What's that? Me. Hey, Kurt, you read lips. You.
How terrible would it be to show up for your first day at college and like, Babka. The next 4 years are going to suck.
I told you to clean my locker. Now, if it's too much for you, we're going to have to get ourselves a new towel boy.
Bad to the bone. He was the bully in like every movie, I think, in the 80s.
He was a perfect quintessential, like, good-looking, wealthy bad guy.
No matter what you think, you'll always be a crude, obnoxious, nouveau riche little flea. It's really weird because he'd be in just like, English class and someone would be yelling, put him in a body bag, Johnny!
You just wonder if he's still like, if he sees movies with jerks and he's like, I could have been that jerk. Now you're using some other actor to play a bag? Doesn't seem fair.
Screw you, Melon.
Rodney Dangerfield's dive was called the Triple Lindy.
The Triple Lindy.
Thornton Melon will be performing the Triple Lindy.
I don't know who the casting person was, but they had this 17-year-old, out of shape, Rodney Dangerfield get on the dive. But then when he does the dive, it's like this 18-year-old, muscular blackhead dude. I mean, come on.
3 boards. Boom. Boom. Boom.
In real life, if anyone were to attempt the triple Lindy, they would be instantly killed.
Not Rodney. There's a reason his last name is Dangerfield.
And he did it. It was perfect. And of course, he saves the day. Everybody wins. Thank you, Rodney Dangerfield.
Welcome to Love Connection. Today you'll meet Judy. She's looking for a man who lies a little.
Love Connection. Who are these people? Who are these people going out on these dates?
I met my husband that way, actually. No, that's not true. I'm not an idiot. I wouldn't go on a date, you know.
Tell me who you selected.
I chose Courtney.
You chose Courtney.
The nice part about Love Connection is that you had to describe the date.
Tell me about the date, Luke.
After dancing, we went back to Courtney's house for the couch for a little bit of smooching on the couch.
What people really wanted to know is, did you get laid? And if the answer was no, all right, well, did you get a
I said, no, we'll have to do it in the car.
Obviously, the show was much better when they didn't get along.
The romance wasn't there.
I want to see a couple fall in love. Let's save that cheesy for Oprah.
Around his stomach, he has a spare tire that's about 40 pounds overweight.
One guy said to a girl, he said he'd see better legs in a bucket of chicken. I thought that was a little too far, yeah.
The best part about Love Connection is when the guy is like, yeah, I think I'd like to go out with Annabelle again. And she's like, Chuck, I think I'm going to stay on my own.
I'm going to remain on my own, which means I couldn't stand the sight of him. And I did not ever want to see this person again.
I'm terribly sorry things didn't work out as far as a love connection for you, Susan, because that's what we try to do.
I mean, it's just a bunch of people who are lame losers who couldn't get a date. But Chuck Woolery, he was the 80s.
Be back 2 and 2.
We'll be back 2 and 2.
2 minutes, 2 seconds. We'll be right back.
Chuck Woolery was the coolest white boy in history.
Really? Is that right?
You're like, man, that's a man. And he'd also sort of like have some bling going on too, like a big watch.
What time is it? I gotta keep track of that.
Chuck Woolery's Rolex was the So what happened? I mean, did you guys go, did you eat? What? I mean, explain.
I think sometimes Chuck would try to hit on the woman, you know, like look, he ain't no good. Date me, 2 and 2.
Talk about a turn of events. Wait a minute.
Chuck Woolery boned every chick that ever was on that show. That's what I think is true.
Oh, quit it. Quit it. Me and my Rolex. Chuck was a pimp.
We'll see you. 2 and 2. Never get tired of that.
Mad balls, gross for one, gross for all. We play with us mad balls.
Mad balls! Ah, cool!
These are Mad Balls. It's a soft, squishy toy with a nasty face on it. I'm a Mad Ball! Because somebody decided that kids needed to be angrier.
Mad ball.
Yeah? Why don't you learn how to spell?
Mad ball.
Splitting headache, swine sucker, fist face, dust brain, skull head, snake face, lock lip, horn head. They were all like my children.
Mad ball. Why are they so mad? Maybe because his brain is hanging out.
You'd be pretty pissed if you looked like that, wouldn't you? And if people were doing this with your head all the time.
They're gross, funny, yucky. There's 8, so you can take your pick.
I don't know what we were supposed to do with them.
You want me to throw one? Yeah. Like that?
I say whip it.
Like that?
Whip it good. I say whip it. Whip it good.
Like that?
Freaky fun for everyone.
We don't have to take our clothes off.
Have a good time.
You have to hold your mic.
We can dance and party all night.
And drink some cherry wine.
Not a word.
It was like Jermaine Stewart was like, I think a girl with a mustache. I was like, you don't have to take a damn thing off because I don't know what you are. Is it Jamie Stewart?
So I think he was right. You don't have to take your clothes off to have a good time. I mean, you can go to a birthday party. You don't need to take off your clothes to rack a piñata.
I'd rather get in your head and in your heart before I get busy in your business.
I like the message. We can have a good time with our clothes on. It's called dry humping. I mean, you want to do it in moderation because it'll chafe. You know, if you're not careful, you can get a real bad festering sore doing that.
La na 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 na.
Say, all right, you know, it's cool if you want to keep them on, but I'm not going to keep mine on.
Tell us the reason why then we'll get naked.
But we do have to take our clothes off, Jermaine. That's why I was one hit, because a lot of people disagreed. Stupid.
I Love 86. Coming up, Jessica Fletcher, keeping the streets of Cabot Cove, Maine safe from scum.
Murder, She Wrote was the first action-adventure series for seniors.
Plus, the honorable craft of pool hustling.
The message of the movie is the children are our future scam artists.
Next on I Love the 80s 3D 1986. But first, movies that should have been made in 3D.
Hey, 3D fans! Weird Al Yankovic here, practically jumping out of the TV and into your living room with the movies that should have been made in 3D for 1986. Pretty in Pink. Just when you thought he couldn't get any cooler, it's Ducky in 3D. Aliens in 3D, watch out! One of those nasty little suckers could jump out and latch onto your face. And of course, Cobra. Because the 3D experience would make it so much easier to study the subtle, delicate nuances in Sly Stallone's performance. Don't you think? And there you have it, the movies that should have been made in 3D for 1986. Because 2 dimensions just aren't enough.
Paula Abdul here, bringing you the teen idols that were the center of countless collages back in 1986. Cosby Cutie, Malcolm Jamal Warner, Andrew McCarthy, Pretty in Anything, and the uniquely named rebel, River Phoenix. Those were the teen idols of 1986.
Do you love me? Tell me, baby.
Do you love them? I know I do.
I love
Hate to be a bother to you, ma'am, but something mighty peculiar has happened down here.
Well, what do you mean by peculiar, Sheriff?
I mean maybe murder peculiar.
Murder, She Wrote is a television mystery drama starring the lovely Miss Angela Lansbury as Jessica Fletcher.
That's me.
Murder, She Wrote was the first action-adventure series for seniors. People who loved old people and murder watched Murder, She Wrote. Angela Lansbury would write novels and then, like, beat up murderers.
She's a better detective than the sheriff they have, I can tell you that.
What?
He couldn't solve anything.
Looks like you were right, Miss Fletcher.
But she could, because she was an author. J.D. Salinger solved, hundreds of murder crimes in his career.
As a matter of fact, you're full of clam dip.
And somebody would always die. And of course, she started asking questions. See, senior citizens are nosy.
She's essentially a Grim Reaper. No matter where she goes, a murder will take place.
Jessica, dude, maybe it's you.
If murder were a disease, you'd be contagious.
Oh, that is a charming diagnosis.
Cabot Cove, Maine, such a delightful little town. But the murder rate per capita hadn't been high.
This is a town that makes the South Bronx look like playland. Cabot Cove is a bloodbath.
Sometimes it seems that way.
I think there was only like 40 people in that town. And then by the end of the show, when it was all over, there was like Jessica Fletcher and the sheriff.
Bitch, don't even come to my town, okay?
I think he's the most dangerous person in the world of today.
Say what you want about Colonel Gaddafi, he makes some damn good fried chicken. Secret 5 spices of the Colonel.
The Colonel himself has been accused of many things, from being behind much of the world's terrorism to being insane.
Gaddafi was a scary character because he was the head of this army, he was a lunatic, and more importantly, he didn't know how to spell his last name.
37 accepted spellings of Muammar Gaddafi's name. That's insane.
Q-U-A-D.
Is it with a K? Is it with a Q? Is it Q-U?
2 F's, maybe. 3 D's just for craziness.
O-A-R-D-W-I-F-F-Y-W-E-C-T-I. But that's the long version.
Colonel Gaddafi, probably one of the most chic men on the international political scene, always with lots of zhuzh, fabulous jalab and matching turban.
Gaddafi knew how to make an appearance, you know? Tailored, jodhpurs, epaulets, monocle, riding crop, mink stole.
He had like a really tight afro. He kind of looked like a Libyan Screech.
It's hard to fear a general who has Howie Mandel's haircut.
Today we have Osama, we have Saddam, but Gaddafi was a terrorist back then. And compared to them, he is like Jello.
Now, it's like Momar, your little Jew-fro, and your green uniform and your big aviator sunglasses. Get over here, Momar.
I love 86. I love The Color of Money. Tom Cruise and Paul Newman.
You couldn't find big time if you had a road map.
Color of Money is a classic mentoring tale. Paul Newman teaches Tom Cruise how to be a scam artist. It makes you wonder about Paul Newman. I mean, is the whole salad dressing for charity thing just a scam?
Like Tom Cruise in The Color of Money, I also once worked as a hustler. I would stand on street corners, and then I would go with men to hotel rooms where they would...
That's the wrong kind of hustler.
Oh.
That's not what we're talking about.
Oh, never mind.
I just like Tom Cruise with the pool stick. He'd pretend like he had a samurai sword with his pool cue. And he had a shirt on that said, Vince. I'm Vince. Got a big poofy bouffant hairstyle. It's feathered up and back.
The goddamn thing, I lay it down, it just jumps up at me, man.
He was so darn brash and so darn hot-headed, he would not listen to what a Fast Eddie had to say.
What?
At the end of the movie, Vince ends up out-hustling Paul Newman's character.
Seems like a bitch, don't it?
Yes, it does.
The message of the movie is the children are our future scam artists.
I love 86.
Coming up, plenty of hot robot on human action.
Talk about creepy. Ooh, are they gonna make out?
Plus, if you like morons, you'll love this show.
Head of the Class featured a gorgeous mosaic of losers.
And
Is it live or is it Memorex?
Memorex tape, pinnacle of crappy cassette technology. Next on I Love the 80s 3D, 1986. But first,
Chuck Woolery here with the best on-screen hookup of 1986. Mallory and Nick on Family Ties. She loves fashion, hates school. He loves art, and although he lives in Ohio, he speaks like he's doing some kind of bad Sylvester Stallone impersonation. The Keatons were dead set against this love connection, but they soon learned that you can't judge a book by its cover. Unfortunately for Skippy, Mallory never learned that lesson when it came to him. There you have it. Mallory and Nick, the best on-screen hookup of 1986, and we'll see you. Doo-doo.
I love the 80s.
Hello, darling. Elvira here with the biggest boobs of 1986. Hold on, would you just get your mind out of the gutter? I don't mean these boobs. I'm talking about Geraldo Rivera. Now, he and his mustache decided it was time to reveal the mystery of Al Capone's vault. More than 50 million viewers watched with bated breath as Rivera cracked the door open to reveal abso-frickin-lutely nothing. The vault was as empty as Geraldo's head. Well, here's to you, Geraldo, the biggest boob of 1986. And I am an expert.
I love the 80s.
Number 5 is Alive.
Oh, is this another one with a talking robot?
Hey!
I don't like talking robot movies. Even Scorsese does a talking robot movie. I'm not watching it.
Movie Short Circuit, a.k.a. Robots Say the Darndest Things.
Pasta, semolina, spaghetti.
Look who's robot talking.
Number 5 is Alive.
Input.
Input.
He called everything input.
Input.
He was reading encyclopedia, dictionary. He was sort of like a crack addict, except the crack was books.
More input, Stephanie. More.
need input.
Wasn't Steve Guttenberg in like every other movie released in the 80s? He was like the 80s Jude Law.
He played the same role in every movie. He was always kind of like the half-laughing, cocky, you know. Hey, this is a robot.
Goot's not afraid to act in front of children or robots.
Holy shit.
No Where's he
I like that.
Oh, Chapo, this is a bird of monkeys.
Hello, my name is Fisher Stevens. I am a white guy doing a bad Indian stereotype. And I'm dating Michelle Pfeiffer. Oh my yes.
Oh my goodness, I am sporting a tremendous Woody right now.
Today, you know, if I played an Indian, the Indian Defamation League would come down on me and probably, you know, go, why didn't they get an Indian?
No. Let's just brown up a white guy.
You can stay, but just for tonight.
I'm not going to question Ali Sheedy's choices for film roles because, you know, mine have been questionable too. But when she danced with number 5, the robot, and the song was More Than a Woman, boy, talk about creepy. Ooh, are they gonna make out?
Stephanie, nice software.
You sure don't talk like a machine.
We all laugh. Oh, little cute robots. No. Watch out for the robots.
All number 5 wanted to be was human. As soon as they start thinking that, you better pull the plug on that mother.
No, disassemble number 5.
Oh my God. The coast is clear. Nobody's here. Just you and me. Snuggle fabric softness. Oh my God, it's really him. Snuggle.
How could you not love Snuggle?
I'm so excited. Hi, I'm Snuggle.
He's out there, he's pushing his line of fabric softener, making the sheets all so damn snuggly.
So soft and snuggly.
Yeah, I have a problem with cute commercial characters.
Why, you're not feeling him? You're not feeling Snuggles?
I'm not creepy and scary at all. You will snuggle with me. Hey, kid, why don't you go and smother your parents?
I thought that Snuggle was hedonistic. I thought that Snuggle was all about just feeling good.
I want some booty, baby. I want to snuggle by some booty. Huh? How's that? Some pimp shit. Why can't I get some pimp shit? Ho, ho, ho. I've got a present for you. Everyone wants to have sex with me because I'm a ball of softness.
I've always wanted you.
I've never actually snuggled till now, and it's quite nice. No, you know what? I've snuggled better.
Snuggle dryer sheets. Snuggly softness that's really less expensive.
Theme song.
You've been waiting to do the Not Necessarily News theme
For like
song?
15 years. Thank you, VH1.
Not necessarily news. That's the show that they had, like the fake news stories, right? Kind of the prerequisite for Dan Rather.
Great show. It's a great show.
Coming up, another earthquake, this time in Washington, D.C.
I have to say, the first time I saw it, I think I was fooled by Not Necessarily the News. I remember watching it and thinking, what? Oh my God!
The hallmark of Not Necessarily the News was taking actual video footage from the news and then doctoring it in a way to make politicians seem silly.
How could a mortal woman stay so young for so long? Was it cosmetic surgery? Or was she Satan's slave?
Really affected how America felt about Nancy Reagan at that time.
And this was before we knew she was wicked into astrology.
I am Rich Hall, continuing my investigation of those literary byproducts known as snigglets.
Snigglets. Any word that doesn't appear in the dictionary, but it should. They certainly were a cocky group, weren't they?
Those stray TV dinner vegetables that always try to escape over the wall into the Salisbury steak zone are the fugitives.
Oral suck this when you play. And here's oral suck this. This is the perfect example of oral suck this.
I've got a sniglet for you. Lenient, inclined to be forgiving and merciful.
That's a real word.
No, it's sniglet.
That's not a sniglet. That's in the dictionary.
No, I just came up with that.
Unfortunately, my vocabulary is so good that it's hard for me to find things that don't already have names. Dude, for example, or guy.
No, the nut and button, which is the button you push at an intersection to cross. The nut and button doesn't do anything.
I bet Hal had a million, right? Hal had just 10,000 amazing sniglets.
Krelm, which is the gunk that forms at the top of a ketchup bottle.
The sound that a plastic bag makes when you're crunching it up and you throw it away. That's called scrunch. Right? Hal's showing me up again.
To the max.
Can't let go, can't get enough.
That an amplified human voice can shatter a glass is remarkable. That a cassette recording of that voice can shatter a glass is amazing.
The message of the Memorex commercials was that sound recorded on a Memorex cassette was the same as sound heard live.
Is it live or is it Memorex?
Can Memorex tape shatter a glass? And the answer is yes, if you play it at 160 decibels.
It can if it's totally new Memorex.
I believe it. I think we were trying to prove it as kids.
I did it! It did it!
Memorex is just as good as the real deal. If you use Memorex tape, you too can shatter glassware.
I love 86. Coming up, Halley's Comet. What a jip.
The only time in your entire life you'll be able to see a fuzzy, disappointing dot on the horizon. Thanks, nature.
And the comic genius of Three Amigos.
My little buttercup has the sweetest smile.
Next on I Love the 80s 3D, 1986. But first...
Hi, I'm Alan Thicke, the irresistibly sexy Dr. Jason Seaver from Growing Pains, bringing you the hot moms of 1986. Cindy Pickett, Bueller, Deidre Hall from Our House, the mom you'd like to play house with, and Judith Light, who's the boss? Who's your daddy? Those are the hot moms of 1986. Hey, how about a little household pet?
I'm Emmanuel Lewis, here to school you on the pop culture term of 1986. Poser. Now, a word to describe a person who habitually pretends to be something that they're not, hoping to be perceived as cool. For example, Jake is such a poser, he's not even been to a Metallica concert, and that was the pop culture term of 1986. Later, dude.
I love the 3D.
Lucas, the movie. Oh my god, it's like the most perfect movie ever made. I can't even get into it.
I just stopped crying about Lucas like a half an hour ago.
Don't let me spoil your depression.
Lucas is part of the great 80s tradition of films starring strange-looking underdogs who eventually triumph by doing something very risky and stupid.
Like what else?
Death Wish.
My peer group in high school, theater facts, right? Did I risk bodily harm to gain their acceptance? Sure I did. I was in the Music Man. You tried doing that 8 performances in a week.
Hey, this is going out to the football team. Luca, break ya.
It actually captures like the teenage awkwardness. I mean, I was popular, so I don't really know.
I can't really identify with that either. But lots of friends.
I imagine that's what it would be like.
Corey Haim is this little scrawny, nerdy kid with huge glasses, like gigantic Sally Jesse Raphael glasses. And he meets up with Carrie Green, Maggie.
Like all nerds, Lucas wants the shallow teenage cheerleader who can't appreciate any of his dreams. God, this movie hit close to home for me.
Harry Green was very important to my formative puberty years. Just leave it at that. Is she coming in to tape?
So he goes out for the football team to try and win this girl. But he should have started playing music because that's
It's so
You
much
can be,
cooler.
yeah, you can be really ugly, Christopher Cross, and play music, and you can get lots of girls.
Hear me good, you pissant.
Don't you call me a pissant, you dumb f***ing jock.
Then he pulls a stupid move. He's playing football and he takes his helmet off, and at that point you're like, I kind of want to see you get crippled. Put your helmet back on, stupid.
Did we win? No way.
At the very end of the movie, he comes back to school and he opens up his locker, and there's Letterman's jacket in there. Apparently, you letter in football if you play in one game. And then. It's the slow clap. They do the slow clap for him.
We don't want to, but kid, you've earned it.
Head of the class, that's when Dr. Johnny Fever, a sleazy disc jockey, decided to clean up his life and somehow teach a bunch of gifted kids at a high school.
Sounds like fun.
Head of the class featured a gorgeous mosaic of losers. I mean, losers of all different races and backgrounds. There was a young female nerd.
I'm a genius. It bugs them.
There was an Indian dweeb.
My name is Jawaharlal. I'm new from India.
There's the Siamese twins in the class. There's a kid with no arms. There's a Korean retard.
I had it bad for that redheaded woman. If you guys can get her on the show, I will TiVo it.
Give me a kiss.
What?
And to that kiss a score, and then to that 20 and 100 more.
Simone, she's so pretty. She's a poet. She's special.
What's an Arvin? This must be one right here.
I played Arvid, the nerdy guy, with the glasses and the pocket protector. Oddly enough, throughout the years, I think Arvid had more dates than anyone else on that program. I've been kind of getting in touch with my body lately, so I figured, well, you know, maybe my body could, you know, get in touch with your body. And, we had some pretty hot-looking women in that class. We had, you know, Robin Gibbons.
That's a really good answer, Mr. Moore. Everyone wanted to be Robin Gibbons because she was hot. Well, let's just say extremely attractive. And no one knew she had such bad taste in men at that time.
Which goes to show you that there's book smart, and then there's smart.
My name is Mr. Moore, but you can call me by my first name, Mr.
Howard Hessman was their teacher, and he was sort of like a hippie.
Who taught the kids that it wasn't only important to study, but you needed to stay in shape, maybe by working your arms and creating a huge bong out of a pineapple.
If there's anything to take from head of the class, message-wise, it would be that it's okay to be smart. It can be cool.
I loved Heart. Still love Heart. I'd still go pay to see Heart.
That was a hit album they had when they came back. They just were guitar slaying bitches. They were great. Fixed up their look. They were no longer, you know, Leonard Skinner type chicks. Now they were big hair type chicks from New Jersey.
Big hair and big shoulder pads and lots of big stuff.
The thing is that Ann Wilson, I guess, was putting on a few pounds, and Nancy was a bit more svelte.
She had the nicest rack. That was her favorite shot in every video.
It's a woman of gold, and she comes out, she's really very sexy, and Ann is like being shot like a troll with a welding mask on. She's over a blowtorch.
Every single shot of Nancy would be the full-length, head-to-toe, rocking-out shot, and every shot of Ann was like this. It was like Nancy Wilson and her sister, the disembodied head.
She's behind the candelabras all of a sudden, behind moving boxes, you know. In this video, I think we're going to be moving, and you're just behind the moving boxes, honey.
These dreams were made when I close my eyes. No matter how big you are, girl, you got one of the fiercest voices out there.
I have nothing against big women. I mean, I like them. I'm a big guy myself. I mean, I'd love to be the meat between that heart, Brad. Girls, don't worry. There's plenty to go around.
These are the latest pictures of Halley's Comet, taken from an observatory in Chile.
In 1986, Halley's Comet was returning. Now, this comet only comes every 76 years, and America and the world lost its mind.
Halley's Comet will return again in 1986, but this time, researchers from around the globe will be studying it not only from the ground, but from space as well.
They had all these people who were gathering, they were going to watch at these planetariums.
Comet spotters arrive every night. What did they expect to see?
They were having Halley Comet parties. All the scientists and the geeks was having, oh God, we have to prepare.
What's the big deal? What's the big deal about the comet? It doesn't do that. Oh, there goes the comet. Oh, there it goes.
Halley's Comet came in something like 27 trillion miles away at its closest. And people go, oh, I hope I don't get hit by that.
When you picture Halley's Comet, I always pictured big ball of fire, huge thing like that. Really what you saw was just a little pinprick in the sky.
This is what it looks like. It's not exactly a spectacular object. Indeed, it's hard to see it at all unless you know exactly where to look.
This is the only time in your lifetime Halley's Comet will be here. The only time in your entire life you'll be able to see a fuzzy, disappointing dot on the horizon. Thanks, nature.
The most disappointing astrological phenomena of my life. Halley-Bopp Comet, at least a bunch of people killed themselves to get on it. Nobody was killing themselves over Halley's Comet.
To me, it was just like a big hubbub for absolutely nothing. Call me when it comes within 65 feet of our planet. Then I'll show up with some binoculars.
I love 86. Coming up, 3 comedy legends save El Dia.
Because we are the Three Amigos.
Lots of funny Mexican talk and dancing with the 3 Amigos. Next on I Love the 80s 3D. 1986. But first, craving some 3D bonus material and 80s ringtones? I wanna rock! Log on to VH1.com. Make sure to check out V-Spot. Guilty, not guilty of 1986.
The less than honorable Harry Anderson presiding. Defendant, Miami Vicer Don Johnson. Charge, impersonating a pop star. Disco Don tried to cash in on his TV success by punishing his fans and picking their pockets with the unlistenable song and the totally unwatchable video, Heartbeat. Verdict, Stephen Jan Hammer says guilty. Sentence, 1 to 3 marriages to Melanie Griffith. Court of 1986 is now in recess.
Who are you? Wherever there is injustice, you will find us. Wherever there is suffering, we'll be there. Because we are the Three Amigos.
One for each other and all for one.
The Amigos is one of my favorite movies of all time. And seriously, 3 of the funniest people ever.
My little buttercup has the sweetest smile.
Three Amigos stars Chevy Chase, Martin Short, and Steve Martin as 3 actors.
And there's a town in trouble who thinks they're the real deal and hires them to come in and save their town from the villainous El Guapo.
It's a true story.
The Three Amigos is an ironic title because I performed at the Chevy Chase roast. None of his friends showed up. Steve Martin wasn't there. Martin Short wasn't there. So to title something 3 Friends and include Chevy Chase is really the funniest part of that movie.
One of the best scenes is they're riding through the desert and they've run out of water and they're desperate or whatever and they pan across Steve Martin. He's like, this canteen is empty. And they go to Martin Short. He's just got sand in it. And they get to Chevy Chase and he's pouring water all over his mouth.
Lip balm? Lip balm? Sitting around the campfire. It's Chevy Chase.
Muy guapo.
My favorite scene of all in that movie is the birthday party that's being held for El Guapo.
In Cafe and the boys, and we got you a little something.
It was a sweater! It was a sweater! So good.
El Guapo is on his way.
Steve Martin explaining who El Guapo is, and he says,
All of us have an El
we all
Guapo
have an El
face
Guapo in our
someday.
lives.
For some, shyness might be their El Guapo.
For some of us, reading is our El Guapo.
A lack of education might be their El Guapo.
For us, El Guapo is a
El Guapo
giant
is a big,
Mexican man who
dangerous
wants to
guy.
kill us.
The people of Santa Poco can conquer their own personal El Guapo, who also happens to be the actual El Guapo.
And the way they win in the end is they get everyone to sew costumes looking like them.
So very old one. So like the wind, very old one.
It makes them look like they're superheroes because they pop up everywhere and they shoot and they disappear and then they're on the other side of town. And then they're in a barrel and then they're in it's great.
They find their true calling in life and they end up saving the village of Santa Poco and inspire laughs in the process. It's one of the best movies of all time.
Wild West! That's right! I love